I'd like to talk a little bit about how you can take typography in your composition and make it a little bit more dynamic and interesting uh, in the photo program. So here I've got, I'm sharing my screen on the previous collage that I was creating, and I want to do something a little bit more interesting to this typography here, Summer of Love. I've actually duplicated it, and I'm going to move it down here so I can use it separately a little bit later. And up here, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And you'll notice over here in the layers panel that it has an icon on the left side of the layer that explains to you what this layer is. And so as long as there's an A there, that signifies that this piece of artwork is still editable. It's still artwork that you could change just by retyping it. You can also affect some of the style by clicking on the A up here in the banner. It brings up the character menu. So if you wanted to change this to a different font, you could change this to a different font. You could also change the size and how bold it is. Right, and that's up here in the top menu under the A. And so now I want to do something a little bit more with this type, and I want to make use of some of these other filters because there's a smudge brush tool. And even below that, if you click on the triangle there next to the icon, you'll see there's a blur brush tool, a sharpen brush tool, right? There's different tools that you can use. A red eye removal tool, that's not going to apply here because we're talking about typography, but if you had a photograph, you could make use of that tool. There's also a erase brush tool. So if I wanted to maybe erase one of the O's here on love, I could do that as well. But the point is that in at least in Photo 2, you've got this assistant that is making some decisions for you based on your workflow. So if I come over here and I grab the eraser brush tool, and I've got my active layer here, and I click into this layer, you'll see I just clicked away. You'll notice that, let me try that again because it disappeared. You'll notice that you get this little pop-up that says the assistant has added a new layer mask inside the layer you previously had selected. So you are now erasing from that new layer. So if you click on this button here, it brings up the preferences window, which of course is over here under preferences. And it activates the assistant window, which allows you to turn off the assistant if you don't want it to be doing things like that for you. So I could just get rid of the O here if I wanted to, using the eraser tool, and I could put something else in there a little bit later. And if I wanted to use, say, this smudge brush tool, let's see if it's going to let me do that. I have to make sure it's selected. Right. Now, you'll notice there was since I still have assistant selected, the program went ahead and switched this layer from a text-based layer to a pixel layer, and you'll see it's changed the name to pixel. So what does that mean? That means I can't come back in here anymore and make edits because it's no longer editable text. It's been turned into pixel art. So once you convert something over to pixel art, you're never able to like go back to the text tool and change the text, right? So just it won't let you do it. Here, this is still text, but if I come back over here, it's no longer text. Right? So you might want to keep that in mind. If you want to preserve your editing capabilities, just make a copy of your artwork or of that layer as text, as art text, and then you can always refer back to it. You can turn it off. You don't want to you don't want it to be active. So I'm just reversing what I've just done here in the photo program, so I can get back to seeing this layer as active text. So now I can come back over here, right, and I can change something. If I wanted to change this to a different color, I could do that. Something I couldn't do before. So just keep in mind that if you're going to start working with these tools over here in this panel, if you do have Assistant on, and here I'll try this again just to show you how that works. If you have Assistant on and you move with the layer activated and you move over that artwork and you start to try to work on it, you're immediately going to get this window that's going to inform you that it's switched over and turned this into pixel artwork. So don't forget also that you can use this opacity tool here with the active layer. You could use the opacity tool to make text a little bit more transparent if you wanted it to be, or to interact with the artwork that's below it if you wanted to do that. So if you wanted to do like hard light. And the cool thing about that is once you turn this into pixel art, it still responds to any of these blending modes that you have here. So if you've used the blur tool, right, it still allows you to make those changes with the filter. So this is kind of a cool way to go through and make your typography a little bit more dynamic, make it not look so much like it's just computer generated artwork.